listen, when you sit down with your team, if you're not getting feedback from your team, that's a problem. My suggestion is to be dramatic about that. Like, if they're not giving you feedback, walk away and just be done with the meeting.
I didn't think I would ever do a fucking podcast. I didn't ever imagine doing that. It made me realize that my purpose is to help others reach the goals and reach their full capacity. And if I can impact somebody's life, that is bigger than money. That is bigger than anything else.
Hey guys, it's Jeremy. Welcome to Livestream with Dr. Alex Plains, where we teach you how to stream your life. What's up, Doc?
Hey, what's going on, Jeremy? How you doing?
Not bad, not bad.
We were out for a little hiatus for a couple weeks, but we're back.
We're back and better than ever.
We've just been working on so many different challenges that we're currently facing and trying to make corrections before 2024.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff that we're noticing trending in the dental industry, and good, bad, and indifferent, but we'd love to talk about that today.
All right, so let's talk about one of our first challenges that we're facing.
Yeah.
When you started reviewing the profit and loss statements for up to the third quarter last week, what did you realize? Haven't you seen a big rise in marketing costs?
Yes, the ROI on marketing is getting more challenging for sure, and obviously wages are always an issue, and I think that dental groups and dental practices need to start I want to say streamlining their supply process too at the end of the year. You don't need to carry any extra inventory, right?
That's correct. That's a great point. So what we try to do, we did an inventory check, and we've realized how many parts we had, like in implant parts, dental supplies, dental materials, returns that we had to do in order to get ready, because the economy has taken a shift. As you know, many of these financing companies are not lending money anymore, so that's going to be a huge challenge for God knows how long. We had a big company that we were working with that had accepted patients that had a credit score of under 600, and now they're not approving because they went upside down. So the times are shifting. The bull market is taking a shift. As we know, we've been up and down in the stock market, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, everything fluctuates. The S&P 500 has taken a huge rise in the last week and a half. So I'm looking forward to a Christmas rally, but we don't know yet because inflation is still high. Unemployment is at 3.9%, rose 0.1%, but there's still a lot of uncertainty.
You're on fire. You just threw a lot of information out there.
I mean, you're not listening to the debates.
No, what I want to talk about is like as a business owner, period, and we're talking more dental industry than anything else, but as a business owner, period, you can't sit on your hands. Like, we identified the lender who was not able to help our patients. We transitioned. We started sourcing other individual companies to help us do that, and we found a new partner, right?
Yeah.
So we can't, business owners, you can't sit around on your hands and hope and pray that it gets flipped up and everything gets back to where it was before. You have to be proactive. You have to create situations where you can identify these issues, or opportunities is a better word, and problem solve.
Remember what we talked about for months, guys. We were always saying anybody could have built a business, could have built an emerging DSO in the last 7 to 8 years. The market was trending up. Interest rates were anywhere from 5.5%. They even went down to 2.5%. The banks were lending money. Patients were flowing in with money, but things have shifted. There's going to be a huge shift. You got to be prepared. I hate using this word, but at this period of time, you got to be nickeling and diming. You got to make sure that you look at all your spreadsheets, make sure that every patient is accounted for, make sure you shut the back door. Every patient that walks in needs to have an amazing experience, the best experience that you and your team can do, because if not, you're not going to be retaining patients, and your marketing costs are going to continue to rise, and your profits are going to get lower and lower, which is the changes that we've seen in our group.
Yeah, and I think the marketing part of this is people get victimized. Business owners get victimized by marketing because, you spend all this money on marketing, and my own opinion on this is, I feel like it's a hopeful thing. There's no guarantee on marketing, so you keep spending and you keep spending and you keep spending more, hoping that you're going to generate more butts in the chairs, you know what I mean? So,
but yet at that period of time, I see it all the time in our group, in our offices. People, your employees are on their cell phone. They're not maximizing time. They're hanging out in the break room. They're taking 20 bathroom breaks a day. I don't think people understand the state of the economy and the shift that is taking place. Every day a different group is rising. Private equity is putting a lot more money into dentistry because they know that it's COVID proof, recession proof. So they're putting all their money in there. So we got to be, you got to step up your game, and you got to be ready for these shifting times, because if not, you're going to be going bankrupt, or you're going to be eaten alive by one of these private equity groups.
Yeah, 100%. That's the biggest challenge that individual owners have right now. We're working with several of them, and, they have legit concerns about, their financials and what it looks like going forward. But, all you can do is plan and, make sure the numbers make sense and build your monthly idea of what your practice is going to look like.
I always say you got to look at what you're collecting and what you're spending. If you're not collecting enough, then you got to reduce spending, and vice versa. You cannot be, spending more money than you're actually collecting at this period of time, because you're going to get in a big problem. Another thing that you got to be careful with is consultants and people that are not experts in their field that are going to be going into your office and making you all these promises that they're going to fix your group or fix this or fix that. You got to make sure that you screen them properly. You got to make sure that they have knowledge, and, you got to make sure that they're practicing what they preach. We're having a lot of challenges right now. I'm very transparent. We're having a lot of challenges right now, making sure that all the businesses are profitable, because, like I said, patients are coming in, they're shopping around. There's a lot of competition. The lending companies have gone under. And the only way to stand out during these hard times is to make sure that you stand above all the other groups and above all the other practices with customer service, patient care, and making sure that you're doing a quality job with your patients.
Yeah, I think that as business owners, you get victimized by reacting to situations. And it's impossible to be proactive on everything that happens, but, understand this, and don't go into this attitude of, hey, we missed out on $30,000 of collections last month. We'll make it up this coming month. How are you going to make that up?
Yes, exactly. You got to ask them why and how you're going to do it.
And most people can't give you a direct answer on how that's going to happen. Oh, well, it'll just get worked out. Well, no, it won't get worked out.
I mean, you dentists out there, I want you to go into your office, once after you hear this podcast, and ask your PAs about the statistics, the numbers, how many new patients they have on the schedule, what their hygiene program is on pace to do, how much restorative are they doing, how much implant procedures are they doing, and I guarantee you they have no clue of what is going on in the practice, but yet they're the practice administrator. And it's very common with directors of operations that you call and you ask them questions. Hey, what's going on with the numbers? Oh, I think we're doing anywhere from 300 to 400,000. Okay, but what is the exact number? I got to look at the report. This is something that you should be doing nightly and daily, and making sure that your practice administrators or your office managers are being held accountable, because the owner can only do to a certain extent, and you need a team that can actually lay the rules down and hold that team accountable. But a lot of people just go in for a paycheck, and they have no commitment to the vision of the company and the philosophy of the owner and what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, I think that you said that really well there. There's a lot of paycheck collectors out there, and it's unavoidable to have those people in your organization. And I think that sometimes they think that the senior people are going to come in and save them. You know what I mean? And that's frustrating too. But yeah, I love how you said that with respect to knowing your numbers. We had a challenge with that, right? Our PAs they didn't know anything, and they were running reports every Friday, and they were just running reports and not even looking at them and throwing them in an email and sending them off to everybody else. And then when you ask them about it, they're like, well, I sent you the report, So building off of that, the numbers are the most important thing, and they need to understand the numbers all the way down on the operations team. From the top to the bottom, everybody needs to understand what's going on.
Yeah, you got to break it up into macro, micro, and then granular, so you can understand exactly what is going on in your practice. And a lot of opportunities are missed in the hygiene, with patients coming in for their hygiene. When was their last x-rays taken? When was their last exam taken? If they have periodontal disease, they're not treating them properly. We have so much of that going on, and it's so hard. And I talk me personally because that's what I'm going through. So and I'm being honest and transparent with what I'm saying. So I hope you guys feel the same way and really start looking at your numbers and really start understanding your data and how your patients are being taken care of.
Yeah, and it's not even about selling a water pick or selling an electric toothbrush as a hygienist. It's more of, your quality of care, your patient care protocol. I mean, what is built into that, and are they following that to the T? Because like you said, they're missing exams. They're missing, it should be a perio maintenance instead of a prophy.
Yeah, because they're not doing audits. They're not looking at their schedule. They're just showing up. Oh, we're here today to work. First thing they do is they go grab a cup of coffee, then they're on their phone for 5 or 10 minutes. I'm not a big proponent of micromanaging, but at this point of the game, I think that we might have to go back to that because, people have gotten really lax. I was talking to a PA that she used to be one of our PATC. She used to be one of our regional managers up north. Unfortunately, she couldn't continue to drive up north anymore, but she was like, I just walking through the practice and everyone is just so relaxed and the teamwork has gone down. No one's working together anymore. No one's collaborating. The meetings, everyone's just looking at a Zoom and no one is bringing in input. It's just become very disappointing to do this type of profession now.
Yeah, it gets frustrating. I get on calls and everybody's on mute, and I tell everybody to take themselves off mute. This is a roundtable conversation, and I'm not interested in anybody having a mute because we need feedback. Listen, when you sit down with your team, if you're not getting feedback from your team, that's a problem. My suggestion is to be dramatic about that. Like, if they're not giving you feedback, walk away and just be done with the meeting, or something dramatic like that, because you can't help them. You can't support them. You can't problem solve for them if they're not giving you feedback.
Exactly. Yeah, you get super frustrated. I see when you run those weekly calls and you're just asking them questions. They don't know the data. They don't know what their AR revenue cycle looks like. They don't know how much they're spending in ordering, how much they're spending in overhead expense for their payroll. And everyone just is like delusional of what's really going on. And I would recommend what I'm doing is, we're going to be holding them to extreme accountability measures because if not, they're not going to have a job because it's impossible,
Yes. You have to prepare yourself for the fourth quarter. We're already into the fourth quarter, but we need to finish the fourth quarter strong.
Got a lot of holidays.
A lot of holidays. Docs, are you guys planning for your holidays? Your expenses aren't really going to change in December, but you're going to take 2 weeks off. What does that look like for you and your practice?
That's a great point. Well, thank you so much, Jeremy. I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. See you soon.